8:41 this morning, and still to come. An unforeseen problem has become a big deal because of the pandemic. Families separated because borders are closed. We're talking about surrogacy and the families involved. So what's being done here in Southern California to bring them together? Plus,
Maria, thank you. International borders are closed due to the pandemic, creating this unique problem for the surrogacy industry. This is probably something you haven't really thought about. Families unable to unite with their own biological children born in different countries during COVID-19 closures. Well, here in Los Angeles, the Egg Donor and Surrogacy Institute is currently housing these surrogate babies, taking care of them, and allowing 24/7 viewing of the babies by the parents, who are mainly in China. In some cases, the parents simply cannot get the documentation they need to come here and take their children home. Here to talk about how the separation is impacting everyone involved, Parham Zar, the founder and managing director of the Egg Donor and Surrogacy Institute, and Emily Crislip, who is still caring for a 5-month-old baby she carried as a surrogate. Thank you both for being here.
Our pleasure. Thank you.
There's so much to understand and talk about, but Parham, if you don't mind, I would like to start with Emily. And Emily, first question to you, how are you doing? Under normal circumstances, this would never have happened.
Right, yeah, we're actually doing better than I thought we would. It has been an interesting journey, but we are just taking it a day at a time and continuing to care for the baby and just do the best we can.
This is your first time being a surrogate, but 5 months have gone by. It's impossible not to bond with this beautiful little baby. Do you think about what it will be like once you have to let her go?
We think about it here and there. We'll definitely miss her. We care for her, but the best place for her is with her parents, and we're just that placeholder until they can get here. So we will miss her, but, ultimately she belongs with her parents.
It's incredible that you're able to keep that mind frame, and it will be definitely helpful down the line when you do have to say goodbye. Obviously, your experience turned out differently than you would have expected. Would you do this again?
I think if the same couple came to me and said, hey, we want to have another baby and we'd like you to be the surrogate, then I would consider it depending on where we're at in life. But I think just given the circumstances of what's going on in our world, I don't know if I could do it again for another couple.
Do you have your own children?
I do. I have a son who's 2.5.
Oh, wow. So he as well must be bonding with the baby. It is just such an unbelievable situation. Parham, I understand 27 babies so far are finding themselves in this situation, and there's still babies who might be born any minute now.
Correct. We do about 150 surrogacy cases a year. So more and more babies are being born, and unfortunately the parents cannot be here.
Talk about the recent example and story of a couple who was able to secure a visa and passport and all the documentation, which is, difficult to do under the circumstances right now. And they actually got to the airport here at LAX, and what happened?
This happened actually yesterday, and it was extremely surprising for us. The parents arrived. Their baby was born about 3 weeks ago. They arrived at the airport, and they were held at customs and eventually sent back to China. So they were not allowed to enter the country. And unfortunately, we didn't have any other mechanism to be able to maybe safely deliver the baby to them, so they could, even if they were flying back, that they could fly back with their child.
That just, I mean, that's mind-boggling to me. They're here at LAX. They could have, in my mind, easily taken the baby. You could have driven the baby to them, right? Like, that's what the average person thinks, but there are rules and there's regulation and that sort of thing. So these poor parents had to get back on a plane and just go back home without the baby.
They did. They had to go back home. Of course, we at EDSI, we make sure that the baby remains safe, remains healthy, that is fed, that is loved, that is touched, and remains secure until we can eventually have the baby reunited with her parents. But at this time, we're still trying to figure that out.
Wow. Okay, so Emily is taking care of the baby that she gave birth to. What about the other children? What is their situation like, and who's caring for them? Who's paying for the cost to care for them?
The parents, of course, pay the cost for taking care of their children, but what we do, for example, at EDSI, if the surrogate is not able to take care of the child, then we arrange for nannies and apartments. We put cameras everywhere to make sure that the parents have 24/7 access to the baby and to the nanny, and they can communicate with the nanny and make sure that the baby is safe. I mean, that's the most important thing. And also, we can all imagine the anxiety that the parents are facing right now, not being able to be reunited with their children and also worrying about the child. So, they're a part of our family, so we take care of our family. We make sure that we do whatever we can to take care of the baby.
Wow, this is just such an unusual circumstance, and I know everyone's doing the best to get through it. What a year it's been. What a story to tell. Parham and Emily, thank you so much for your time, and wishing you both the very best. We'll be right back.